You guys asked for it, and here it is, a battery drain test of 4 of the hottest phones right now. We have the OnePlus 6T with their biggest ever 3700 mAh battery, the Honor Magic 2 with an impressive 3500 mAh battery, a less impressive 3200 mAh battery found on the Mix 3, and finally the Samsung Galaxy Note 9 with the biggest of the bunch of 4000 mAh battery. Now all of these are running great chipsets. We have the 6T and Mix 3 with the Snapdragon 845. We have the Magic 2 running Kirin 980, and we have the Note 9 running their own Exynos 9810 chip. Now the 3 on the left that you see here all are paired with 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage, and the Note 9 is the slightly lower 6 gigs of RAM variant. Now these are incredible phones, guys. Enjoy the video. Without further ado, let's go. So I started all of these on 100% juice, guys. We've hit Spotify straight off the bat here. I've made sure to get all of their displays as accurate as possible when it comes to brightness, which is actually all at the max. They are all impressive AMOLED displays, and 2 of them here are actually running Samsung OLED displays. So you can see that the Honor Magic 2 is starting off strong, still at 100%, while the 6T is not far behind, paired with the Note 9 at 97-96%, and the Mix 3 is starting to fall behind at 94-93%. The Honor Magic 2 is now dipped down to 99% on Facebook. Twitter. Next is Facebook, guys. So Facebook comes up just after this, and running this test after 43 minutes, you can see that neither is starting to really hit it up. You can see 91% on the 6T, 96% on the Magic 2, 89% on the Mix 3, which is the lowest of the bunch, and the Note 9 not far behind that with its 4000 mAh battery. So now going through on Facebook, watching some videos over there, you can see that we have just hit the hour mark, and none of them are really budging too much. They are all impressive when it does come to battery life due to their impressive chipsets in them. Now I have set all of them recording at 1080p at 60 frames per second, since all of them are capable of that, but not all of them are capable at running 4K at 60 frames per second. Only the 6T, the Mix 3, and the Note 9 can do that. Unfortunately, the Honor Magic 2 cannot do 4K at 60. It is limited to 30 frames per second. So another drawback of the Note 9 though is it cannot record for more than 10 minutes. So that is getting capped there. Moving on to Helix Jump. We are all sitting within the 70s here, the highest being the Magic 2 with 77-76%, the 6T running 70% now. Then we have the Note 9 at 71%. The Note 9 and the 6T are actually quite on par. I was really surprised with this, considering the 300 mAh difference between the two. But what I'm really impressed with here is the Magic 2 is outdoing itself with just a 3500 mAh battery, but that is because it is the only one running a 7nm chip with its Kirin 980, the latest from Huawei, guys. So all of these are really impressive phones, and they all have insane specs, the best of the best for this year of 2018, which will sadly be replaced quite soon for the likes of the Mix 3, Note 9 and 6T early next year with the new Snapdragon chip coming out. But the Honor Magic 2 will hold its gain on that chipset and hopefully improve that with its embedded software close to the end of next year. So we still have a full year left of the Kirin 980, which is great, guys. If you're looking to future proof, that is probably your way to go. Now we're hitting onto Shazam now. You guys need to let me know if you like this test. This is my first time running this kind of test, and I have watched plenty different videos on YouTube and done so much research on how to actually do this test and be as accurate as possible. I have mixed in some social apps, I have mixed in benchmarking apps, gaming apps, everything that you would usually do. Obviously you wouldn't benchmark your phone every day, but hey, there are some of you out there. I have just put those in for the high performance users. So if you do not do those, expect to get at least 30 minutes to an extra hour of screen on time from these phones, just with some casual gaming and social media, which is what you guys will usually be doing. If it's me, it's pretty much just YouTube and social media. So I'm looking at closer to the 8-hour mark with screen on time, because those are not heavy hitting things. Now we are on Angry Birds and we have surpassed the 3-hour mark. We're all below 50% here, but the Honor Magic 2 just under 50% with 47% there. The 6T at 43% along with the Note 9 at the same, and the Mix 3 is dropping heavily to 34%. As you can see, the Honor Magic 2 is just 200 milliamperes away from the 6T, but it is doing better. And the 4000 milliampere battery, which is 500 milliamps more, then the Honor Magic 2 is doing worse than the Magic 2. So the Mix 3 ratio to the Magic 2 shouldn't be so crazy, but like I said, that 7nm chip really does help it there. So now we are sitting on Instagram and going through some videos, and we are just hitting the 4-hour mark now. You can see the Mix 3 is now under 30%. Neither of the others are sweating it at the moment. The Magic 2 just hit under 40%, where the rest of them are edging on that 30% mark. The Mix 3 going to that 20% mark. Guys, I did put performance mode on for the Antutu benchmark that just ran, and now we're going to run some Geekbench 4 tests just to push it a little bit more to see what these phones are capable of when it comes to battery life. Now, I did make sure that I turned all the performance modes off on the phones. The 6T unfortunately does not have a performance mode, but it does have a gaming mode which optimizes the GPU, CPU, and the RAM in the phone, which is pretty much exactly the same as the performance mode found on the other 3 devices. I did turn it off for this test. I'll turn it back on later just to edge it out and see all the way through. So we are hitting 13% on the Mix 3, 12%, the lowest so far. The Note 9, not so impressive with that huge 4000 milliampere battery, but it is sitting on 20%. The 3700 milliampere battery on the 6T is actually doing better than it. But remember that the 3 phones, the 6T, the Magic 2, and the Mix 3 are all running Android 9 Pie, where the Galaxy Note 9 is still stuck on 8.1 Oreo. So that does have a little bit of a factor to play in the test, guys. So we're hitting only 20% on the Magic 2 now, 17% on the 6T, 14% on the Note 9, and 3% on the Mix 3, guys. That Mix 3 is going to go any second now, where the others are still, they don't want to die yet. So we're still going with this. I'm still really impressed. And there goes the Mix 3 with a whopping 5 hours and 19 minutes. Now, if you look at that, this is just a slightly bigger battery than the iPhone XR, though it does a better job by about 20 minutes there. So that is impressive. But then again, that does have an LCD display, where this has an AMOLED display. All of these displays are AMOLED, guys. So we have the 6T running 8%, the Note 9 3% there, and the Magic 2 at 8%. You can see that the Magic 2 is dropping quite significantly near the end here. It is now matching ranks with the 6T, where the Note 9 is about a head off, and there it is with 5 hours and 46 minutes. And then we have the 6T and the Magic 2 battling it out. What do you guys think? I feel the Magic 2 is just dipping down that little bit, and I went from 2% to 0% there, guys. I'll explain a little bit later, but it skipped that 1% mark and just shut down at 5 hours and 54 minutes, which is still mad impressive. Just 6 minutes later, we hit the 6T with the 6-hour mark. Now, turning them all back on just to see if they have juice. The 6T and the Mix 3 did not budge, but the Note 9 and the Magic 2 did. The Note 9 shut off pretty quickly, but the Honor still had 2% of juice left. And in first place, we have the OnePlus 6T with a crazy 6-hour mark right there, guys. That is impressive to say the least, given that I did do some crazy benchmarks. Second place, the Honor Magic 2, crazy impressive. Not that much smaller battery to the OnePlus 6T, and it came in at 5 hours 54 minutes, just 6 minutes less. Third place, the Note 9 with a huge battery, bigger than the rest, but still less than the first two, with 5 hours and 46 minutes. And in last place, fourth place should I say, the Mix 3 with 5 hours 19, which is not crazy bad, but it is slightly disappointing considering that their previous phone did do slightly better in that department. Let me know what you think of the video down below, give me some suggestions, and as always, this is Technic.